Good morning, good morning. It's a late morning, Friday. It's a beautiful day. It's the day the 13th, though? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure. But nevertheless, if it is, it really doesn't matter. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Back to the World. My brother and my sister's keeper slash Sonetquity Publishing Company slash Billionaires Roundtable Conference. My name is Tony, and thank you guys for coming on board this morning. I know I'm running a bit late, man, but I've had a busy morning. All things positive, inshallah. It's the season of Ramadan, and just getting up early, man, and trying to get some things done and taking care of them, inshallah. Uh, any comments, questions that you care to share, hit us in the box down below. Hit the like button, man. Punch everything. It doesn't matter, man. Do what you do. I'm just glad if one person comes on board and can exchange, or just if they're present and listening to what it is I might have to say. Out of 100% of the video, man, you might only get 10%. But let me tell you something. That's like tithing, man. You get your blessings, all right, in the 10th percentile. Uh, Today I'm going to name it Fuego Friday. I know we do freestyle Fridays, but I'm going to name it Fuego, Spanish for fire. So, I'm going to light one up in a minute, and we're going to smoke and we're going to have a chat, all right? But before I do, we're going to give you the PSA, all right? First, starting with all of you readers, all of you book club members, all of you literary, I don't want to say literary fans. We don't want to call you a fanatic. Everybody's so politically correct these days, so we're not going to call you a fanatic. We're going to call you a fan. We want you to do your shopping at Sonetquity Bookstore, all right? Our webpage is www.bookshop.org/shop/Sonetquity. Buy all of your reading needs, man. Okay? Buy all of your reading needs. We're in the process of getting our wealth building program back in shape, and we can tell you how to become a member of Sonetquity Wealth Building Program. Enjoy your monthly books and subscription, and a chance to earn, supplemental income, earn money at it, and meet a bunch of great people at the same time. And we get ready to host our webpage and our book club and our meetings, and everything is getting ready to fall in line. So we want you to be a part of it. But what I'm saying is join up now, right? So as soon as we're ready to launch that part of the business, you're ready to come in, and then I can tell you how it's best to approach becoming a member of our book club, and to receive all the benefits and everything that we have in store. Okay? So that's www.bookshop.org/shop/Sonetquity. Thank you guys. Right? Next, we have our Batana oil. This is our beard oil. At the present moment, we are out of the 100% raw Batana oil. We should be receiving that sometime today or Monday. Well, UPS doesn't deliver on Saturdays, so we'll probably receive it Monday. But this is our 100%. This is our beard oil, Batana oil, and it's good not just for beards. It's good for lotioning the hands, the elbows, and what have you. This is definitely a great product, and as I said again, man, you take a look on our site, you'll see our before and afters. All right, but go to our site right now. You can DM me or inbox me and place your order. Give me your name, number, address, how many items you want to purchase or what have you. You'll see the list of our of different products on there. And coming soon, we'll have soap and conditioner and shampoo as well, 100% Botana. Okay, this is an outstanding product. It's outstanding, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. When you find something that truly works, it becomes, you know what? It's just magic, because we get so many lies. And it's not only that. Sometimes we buy a product and psychologically, we convince ourselves that it worked. Okay, we may like the way it smells, we may like the way it feels, but you're probably not achieving the results that was said or that was advertised. Okay, that's not that with this. With this product works. Okay, this product works. So if you're having trouble with growing hair, if you want to at least apply some to spots where you hadn't had hair in years, if you have psoriasis and you don't want to take any type of medication or drugs, and eczema and alopecia, this product works, man. It works magically. We've had clients that have the dark skin, to whereas when it becomes irritable and then it gets dark, when it starts to heal, they've applied this product, man, and it has lightened the skin and brought the skin back to its natural hue. All right, so DM me, inbox me, let me know, place your order. We have 2-ounce jars, 100% pure raw virgin Botana oil. We have 4-ounce jars, okay, and we have our beard oil. Okay, it can be used as a skin conditioner and what have you. All right, and if you want to join our affiliate program, our affiliate marketing program, then let me know. Let me know that that's what you want to do, and you're interested in starting your own franchise, your own outlet, your own company. And then we can sit down and I can tell you what's the particulars and what does it take to inquire to set up a personal account with us, and we will provide you the Botana oil. All right, we will be your plug, in other words. You know what I'm saying? we will definitely be your plug. But at any rate, man, thank you guys for coming on board, and we're gonna get this thing started, right? As I said again, this is Fuego Friday, Freestyle Friday. We don't have nothing in particular that we want to talk about, but we're going to talk about something. All right? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Good morning, Patsy. How are you? Good hearing from you, sister. Okay. All right. We're gonna get started, but before we get started, man, let me give a shout out to a close friend and like a family member to me. Man, we pretty much, all of us grew up together, man. And I'm talking about Sister Shawn Believing Williams. Sister Shawn Williams. Man, last night I received a call. I received a call from my sister. And we hadn't spoken in quite some time. And all of us went to school together and everything here. Texas Southern, a whole bit. All of us are from New Orleans as well. And I can tell you, I go to bed early. And I had been watching the basketball game. And I dozed off on the game. And my phone started ringing. Right? And depending on the time and everything, I try to discipline myself, and I'm still on that regimented time to whereas I go to bed early and I rise early, Lord willing, thanks God. I rise early, say 3 to 3:30, and I get up and I get my workout regimen in the whole nine. So, you know, sometimes I just like to go straight to sleep, so I have that energy when I wake up. Well, my phone rang. I started not to answer it, and if I do answer, I would look to see who's calling. If it's a number without a name, meaning that it's not programmed in my phone, then 9 times out of 10 I don't answer. Okay? And last night, when I looked at the phone, it had a different covering or whatever on it, but I did not read the name. And I didn't have my glasses on. So finally, when I answered, it was a female voice on the other line. And, you know, with her ever-present sense of humor, she said, "Hello, Pastor, such and such. Hello, Reverend such and such." And I said, "Excuse me." And then I caught the voice, and I started laughing. And she was trying to tell me something at the same time, and we were joking at the same time. I immediately caught on to what she was saying, and then she came with the real. And she said, "You know, brother, we go way back, and you know, I remember you, man, with the short haircut, clean shaven face. You know, the Italian suits with the expensive shoes, the skins and everything." And she said, "Now you've come home and you've transformed yourself." You know, she said, "You know, you got the long dreads, you got the glasses, you smoke your cigars, you got the 5 o'clock shadow, but yet you're telling our people what needs to be heard." I want to take the time out to say this, man. I promise you, I get quite a few comments and everything, but nobody gave it to me like the sister gave it to me last night, right? You know, we talked upon it, man, and you know, look, I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep on her, but our conversation was so intense and it was so involving, and she shared so much with me, and you know, I think we was on just one accord. She shared with me the things that she's been doing since I've been gone, different programs that she's done, things that she's put in place. She's in the process of starting a school for those who are seeking jobs, employment, and the whole bit. But her program is not to teach people how to just get a job. Her program is to train you and to teach you how to start your own business, right? How to secure contracts for general contracting, roofing, cement, whatever the situation may be. Most of these jobs that are considered labor jobs, and these are the jobs that are paying well today. You see, when I was in high school, and the young lady and Sean, when we went to the same high school. When we were in high school, when we were in high school, our high school had a trade. We had trade courses, right? My high school had we had auto mechanic and body shop. We had woodwork. We had printing. We had shoe repair. We had electrical engineering. Well, it was electrical engineering, but we had like an electrical class. We had industrial arts. We had painting. We had all these different. We had all these different trades. We had homemaking, baking. We had seamstress, tailors. You know. If I'm leaving something out, somebody please help me. But all of this was in high school. I was a part of the distributive education class. And with distributive education, for many of you that may not know what DECA is, we learned how to prepare resumes, interview, apply for jobs, management positions, doing retail, marketing. All of these are things that went on in distributive education. And then we had to do a summary review. We had to do a report, everything, man. I'm talking about, I was in 11th and 12th grade when we were doing this. You know what I mean? And I just felt like I was out to conquer the world, man. Truly. And all these are things now that we're lacking. You see, because so many people are going to college and they're not getting jobs in their fields. And then a lot of those jobs are being cut out with this president and this cabinet. They're eliminating many of the things that people have gone to school for, studied for, right? And a lot of our kids are getting out of school, or they're quitting school, right? And these are kids, man, that have 4.0 GPAs and stuff. But what they're teaching is lackluster. It does not stimulate them. So kids are just quitting, man. They're going to be a barista at Starbucks, or whatever the situation may be. They're going to work at an Apple store. You know, whatever pays the bills. They're going to work at Enterprise, car rental. But little do they know, every last one of these courses that I told you about that was dealing with, with tech schools and everything, these are schools that get you prepared to start your own business. And Sean and I talked about all of this, man, and she was telling me, and not so much that she's gifted, well, not so much that she's smart with the business, but she's gifted in the way of dealing with people. She's gifted in having them believe in themselves, and sometimes having them to give more than they feel they have to offer. And I understand that. My father used to tell me, if you can't shame a man, you can't change him. And I was having a conversation with someone else, and I can't remember exactly the words that were said, but I was letting them know, because of the way that they felt, it says a lot about their character. See, because as a person, we want for our brothers and sisters what we want for ourselves. And when I see someone doing badly and suffering, I think of myself being in that position. I think of myself hurting and wanting, And I think it was my daughter. It was my daughter and I. My daughter and I were talking, and with the company that she works for in Silicon Valley, they were starting to lay off. Right? They were starting to lay people off. And they were working satellite. They're working satellite and everything. So some of her co-workers, a few of her co-workers were let go. But there was one person in particular that she had an affinity for. And she was released. And my daughter called. She wanted to have a conversation because she was feeling some kind of way. I thought it was my charm that had her wanting to call and converse. However, be that as it may, I realized and I recognized almost immediately that something was bothering her. How do they say something was afoot? Well, we talked a little longer, and then finally she came on with it because, see, I didn't want to push her. I didn't want her to feel forced. Whatever it was that was ailing her or bothering her to that degree, I wanted her to tell me in her own time. And she told me that she had a friend. Well, first she started off with the company was starting to lay off people. And I said, oh my God. She said, no, Dad, I'm good. She said, I'm good. I said, oh, whew. All right. Well, I could just about deal with anything else that you get ready to tell me. So she said, Dad, they let a few people go in different states. And they have offices all in Canada and what have you. She said they released people even up there. So I sat there and I listened. And she said that one young lady was released. And her and the young lady had been tight. Her co-worker. Excuse me a second, you guys. So she said that they released her. And she said, Dad, I just feel so awful. Right? Hey guys, glad you guys are on. What's going on, Skinny? All right. So, man, this camera is just, I don't know. Hold on a second, y'all. So, she said that they released her. And she said, Dad, when she was telling me, she said, I just felt so bad because I still had my job and she didn't have hers. And oh, Dad, I just felt so. She said, I didn't know what to tell her the whole bit. So she said, I don't know. She said, Dad, I don't know if you've ever experienced. I said, yes, I have. I said, yes, I have. So she said, tell me about it. So what it was for me, it was me receiving clemency. See, I had done quite a few guys clemency, and most of us went home. Most of them even went home long before me, right? So I had to deal with this. It was a double-edged sword, right? For the entire process of clemency while President Obama was in office, the second term, I'd done like 18 clemencies. 14 people went straight home. 2 had to do more time. 1 was turned down, and 1 passed away. 1 transitioned. So now it's Obama's very last day. So I made up my mind that weekend that doesn't look like, I'm going to get a chance to go. Not this time. I said, but you know what? I feel good about all the guys that did go home. And some of them didn't know how to reach back to me. So some I had to actually track them down through some of their homeboys, some of their friends, and family members. And it was only a few that reached out to me. I somewhat understood why. I didn't have the gist. Didn't have all the gist. So On the very last day, I was granted clemency. On Obama's very last day in office, I was granted clemency. And I mean, I was elated. But I had another transition to go through, because I was one of the people that still had to serve 2 more years. And that hit me, oh my gosh, that hit me like a gut punch. And then I just started thinking. I had to wrap my head around everything that had happened. And I looked at all the different dichotomies of what was going on. I did work for people that went home, and then I wasn't. Then I'm told that I'm going home, but I got 2 years. And at the end of those 2 years, my time came, and I was released. And almost immediately, I understood why those guys that never reached back to me didn't. And this is what I told my daughter. I was dealing with survivor's guilt. That's something that I'm seeking. I'm going through therapy for that. PTSD. Shit, even relationships. You know? And I told my daughter that, I said, I commend you, because it says a lot about a person's character. And I'm not just going to talk about me, but I realized that these guys felt a certain way, and they felt badly because I did their clemency, and they went home, and I was still locked up. Now, once I got clemency, a few of those guys and a bunch of other guys, they wrote me and congratulated me. But there were others that never did. And then there were those who was on the inside that didn't. So you realize the two. You realize the difference. You know what I mean? And it's not so much that everybody's hating on you. Some people can't deal with their success. And there are people around them that's deemed a failure, or they didn't receive their blessing. You follow me? And this helped me understand why so many of the entertainers and the actors, they do so many god-awful things or so many stupid things, man, once they get what we think is their success. Many of them can't handle it because they feel guilty. It's almost like survivor's guilt. Okay, I made it, and now my friends haven't. But when I was rolling in the dough, I felt that feeling, right? What is this thing going out again? Just a second again, you guys. My cable came out. Yep. Live TV, y'all. Live TV. I don't get it. Okay. Hold on here. Now everything is coming unglued here. I'm gonna try it. Come on, camera. Gosh. I wonder if anybody else goes through this, man. So, anyway, here we are. I think we're back. So, where were we? Anyway, a lot of our people get rich, and they want acceptance, and they're truly feeling guilty, and they're feeling bad about them being successful the whole bit. Some will go out and they will overdo it. and they will spend most of their monies on family and friends, partying, not partying, but just spending frivolous money, crazy business deals and everything because they want to uplift their families. Then you have the others. They're going to spend a lot of money on partying and good timing and having a large entourage to follow them around, right? And they're not so much investing into anything that they're doing. They just have them around them, and they want them to experience the life, but they want to be the big dog. But the truth is, you're looking for their acceptance at the same time. I don't know if I can explain this feeling to you. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but I can try and articulate it. And as I said about my daughter, when someone's talking to you, when you have two people that are in the identical situation, let's say two people have the same jobs, right? And it's 4 people and they need to let 3 go, or they need to let 2 go, right? Well, the person that was released, it's their friend that they kept. And you may not want to say it out loud, but you'll say to yourself, why them and not me? Why did they keep them but released me? And some people do not know how to navigate those feelings. And it's sometimes, friendships or whatever can end permanently simply because that person did not know how to navigate those emotions. They did not know how to feel the same way about this person that they feel got a job, kept a job, or maintained on a job, and you were released. And to some degree, you're holding that person responsible. Yet, when all the responsibility is inside of you. And see, you have trauma on both sides. Because the person that has the job, that kept the job, they don't know what to say to you. They don't know what to say to you when you guys talk, when you guys speak. And then on a day you may call, and they say, hey, look, I can't talk right now, I'm at work. Or I gotta go home because I gotta get up early in the morning because I gotta go to work. And it's the same job that you used to have. So sometimes we just don't know how to mitigate those emotions, right? And that's what my daughter and I spoke about last night. Earlier yesterday. And I told her that sometimes the best thing you can do in a situation like this camera's going on and off, man, Lord have mercy. The best thing you can do in situations like that is listen. That's the best thing you can do in a situation. Be a comforting ear. Listen. Don't try to say something, that's going to what they call placate. Don't try to say anything that's going to placate them. Be genuine. Just listen. Let them know that you feel awful. Let them know that you wish they would have kept the job as well. But it was out of your control, right? Now, if you're the person who was on the short end of the stick, because I felt that I was there. When those 18 people, when those 14 people went home and I didn't, I had to navigate those feelings. So whenever I would call them or text them, I'd ask how they doing. Are they continuing their quest for greatness? Are they continuing to learn how to read? Some guys didn't know how to write checks. I asked them, were they continuing to deal with their finances, the whole bit. Hey, I'm just checking on you, man. I know, you were you on a diet and everything, man, but I know you're out there with all that great food and everything, man. But are you still eating properly? Now you can deviate a little bit. I understand that, but stick to your diet. All right, stick to your plan. So you talk to them, you encourage them. You want to be encourageable. You want to be encouraging, brother. And don't come off as being fake, man. And don't come off as though you have all the answers. But if you have a relationship with someone and you guys are speaking to one another regularly, don't change. Whatever you were saying before that manifested that relationship, you continue to do that. You don't change and try to get all fly and over. And this is a problem that a lot of older people do when they're trying to talk or speak to young people. They try to talk to them in their language and come off as being hip. Believe it or not, in the beginning they find that shit amusing. But after a while, man, it comes off as corny. So don't try and ingratiate yourself by thinking that you're their peer or acting as though you're their peer in the whole bit, because you're not. All right? So these are the things that I had to deal with my daughter. And when Sean and I were speaking last night, she was telling me about, and this is a lady, right? And the community where we grew up, say, man, it was hard knock life, literally. Excuse me. And see, so Sean had experience with dealing with these knuckleheads, but she meet them where they are. She don't try to pretend that they're someplace else. She meet them where they are, and then she try to figure out where it is that they can go. And these are the things that we talked about. And she had young guys that were carpenters, truck drivers, bricklayers. They did foundation. They did cementing. They did roofing. She did the same thing with young ladies. She told me at some point or another she had over 200 women. Not all at one time, but she had over 200 women or so that had gone to prison or that lost their jobs and what have you, and they needed places to stay. And, she would house these people. More fell in her lap. And, she was telling me about her transition. And she said many things fell in her lap that she didn't even go seeking for. All she did was just put it in the ethers. And she prayed about it. And everything she prayed about, God delivered. Right? And don't get me wrong, I'm older than Sean. And in each of our worlds, Sean has probably experienced more than I have. But as we spoke, she was acknowledging the fact that, you know what? I'm playing with house money because God has blessed me and given me another chance. And I shared with her my story. I didn't go into depth, but she was telling me the things that she'd gone through. And coming out of those things, the blessings that she received from the Most High. And I had the same story because I told her that I've been in isolation for 25 years. And one of those years, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year, 11 months, 11 months. I said, 11 months and 7 hours, 11 months, 7 days and a few hours. I remember it, right? That I lost my sight, right? And I told her my testimony. I said, when I lost my sight, it was then that I gained my vision. And I realized then at that point what my calling was, right? Now I'm not talking about ministry. She was teasing me about that, but she knows that I wasn't gregarious to the point that I can talk to an audience like this, whether you're on social media, whether you're live or whatever, and all the words that must be said in order to formulate a sentence and put it together, and then try and hold the audience captive. I was super nervous about that. And I tell you, I can remember hearing in my head, God said, hey, don't even pay attention to it. Speak and say what's on your mind and in your heart. Some are going to listen and take heed. Some are going to know it and call you a fool. But just know that you've released it into the universe. You've released it into the ethers. And it's going to catch hold. I don't know, when I was a kid, I used to watch the dandelions or whatever that was. Those little plants that was fuzzy like. And in the neighborhood where I grew up, man, they had, a lot of people had gardens, man. You walk down my neighborhood, you walk down my block, you smell all sorts of fragrances. Lilac, gladio, honeysuckle. You smell all these, what they call it, a cacophony of fragrances. And I used to love to walk on a certain side of the street because, one side was roses and everything, but this other side had all gladiolas and everything. And I used to smell all these different fragrances and shit. Right? But I think it's the dandelions. And the little fuzzy deal. And when the wind blow, a lot of the little fuzzy deals used to escape and get caught in the air and fly in the whole 9 yards, man. And I had a huge afro. And a lot of it used to just connect. And it would just land on my head, man. And there were people that I'd be walking with, and none of it would stick to them. So sometimes that's the way the word reacts. You can have two people walking side by side or sitting side by side in a symposium or in church even, or even in class. And when you have the orator giving the dynamics, somebody's going to get it and somebody ain't. And you're sitting there and this person's wide awake. And then when the class or the symposium is over, and you say, "Man, that was excellent, man. What the doctor said or what the professor said," and they say, "What part?" And you tell them, "You say, I didn't hear him say that." I say, "Oh," and then they'll say, "Man, I wasn't even thinking about that, man. I was thinking about our game tonight, or I was thinking about going to this party, whatever the situation may be." They become distracted, brother. But just like those dandelion fuzzes connected to my hair, that's the way some people receive messages. And then that's the way other people miss it. But then again, here's the deal. There have been times when I turned around and I was the one that regurgitated that information to them, and they got it. I got a young nephew, and we were trying to tell him something about business and working and things that certain things that he could do, right? Pardon the noise in the background, man. Let you know work's being done. But anyway, after we're explaining a certain technique on business and everything, He and his first cousin, they went out and got a video. They both watched the video. They both didn't get it. So after they watched the video on YouTube, the whole bit, then I took the time out to give it to them step by step. And I reached them, I met them where they were. I wasn't trying to talk over their heads. I wasn't trying to pretend that I was smarter than I am. I don't know how to do that anyway. It's either I am or I'm not. So I gave it to them where they are. I used the language in which I thought they'd understand. And it turned out they did. And they received the results that they were seeking when they was watching all these YouTube videos and talking to these other people. And see, like a lot of our leaders in the whole bit, they talk over the public's head. It's just like the podcast I did yesterday. See, all of our leaders, they all come back and they tell you, we must unite, we must come together. Well, okay then. Somebody tell me what that looks like. Don't just tell me that we should come together. Because see, here's the thing. If I tell you right now, if you go 2 blocks down, take a left, then go a quarter of a mile, then take a right, and then go straight, and you'll end up in California. You see, I didn't give them the crux of those directions the whole bit. There's a lot to be desired. Okay? So you have to give them some detail. You have to give them some landmarks, some markers. And then you have to take it slow. You just can't say go left, then turn right, then go straight all the way. You know, you're leaving out a lot of details. And sometimes that's where the truth lies, in the detail. So, you know, you try and meet them where they are. You don't try to talk above their heads. You don't try to make it seem like you're a genius for knowing this shit. And you don't want to make them feel stupid or make them feel foolish because they didn't know it. And this is what Sean was telling me last night. How she was dealing with her potential students. You call them clients or whatever. I don't know what she calls them. And I like to know these things. But, you know, she was telling me that she had some guys that started their own furniture moving business. You know what I mean? You don't know what you're capable of. You don't know what's in your wheelhouse until you examine it, until you look through that toolbox. You know? And speaking of which, she says she takes them in to get their tools, get all of their equipment for whatever trade it is that they're going to pursue. I commend you, Sister Sean. I thank you for our conversation last night. It was very, very stimulating. And as I said, I go to bed early. And anyone can tell you that has called me late, I'll fall asleep on them. I didn't do that last night with you. Because what you were talking about was so stimulating to me, and it was something I was truly, truly interested in. Because I could have said, hey, look, you know, I'm sleepy, and I have no problem with that. You know, let me call you back tomorrow. No. I wanted to hear everything you had to say last night. And I thank you for checking on me. That call means so much because I get calls from people that care every day, every other day. But to get one that's like a blast out of the past, you know, the only thing it can be is God. That's the only thing it can be. This person was on your mind. I see my sister Patsy on here. Miss Patsy Johnson Brown. And I know that, and I truly feel that, you know, I haven't spoken with Patsy in a while. So I must have been on her mind. Now, should she feel some kind of way because I was on her mind, but yet she wasn't on mine, or whatever the situation may be? Just because I hadn't called or I hadn't texted, whatever the situation is, doesn't mean that she had not been on my mind, because there are people that you know about, people you care about, and you pray for them. And you may not never speak to them every day. I posted a picture yesterday, and it was a throwback. And in the caption, I was talking about how that was just a simple picture, but yet the memories were so valuable. There was so much wealth to the memories. And then I gave a RIH, which is rest in heaven, to one of our members in that picture. And it was for an old friend. Well, one of the persons in the picture was an old friend of ours, an old friend of mine, go way back. And this picture was over 30 years old. Right? Picture was over 30 years old, right? Going on 35 years. And when he saw the picture, he was like, wow. He said, man, and this was his wife passed away, who was transitioned many, many years ago. And when he saw that picture, he said, man, he said, I don't have these pictures. And I expressed to him, well, now you do. Right? Now you have a copy of those pictures. And then I thought about it. I thought about the magnitude. And I thought about how it may have made him feel. You know? But he's been out here, and life has been lifing. And you know, his life has been lifing, and my life was on standstill, right? So I never thought for 1 second he didn't have those pictures. But it turns out that he did not have them. And it made me feel good. It's one thing that made me feel good about this social media and this Facebook. Now he can download those pictures, and he have them for a lifetime. I know we have the memories, but now you have pictures to the memories. Okay? Oh. You know, as I was saying earlier, our leaders, quote unquote, they all say, come together, come together. Okay, come together how? Give me a playbook. You don't tell your wide receiver or whatever, hey, when we were kids we say, hey, go to the garbage can, you know, then when you get to the garbage can, cut straight ahead, and then you're gonna get to that dip. And then once you get to that dip, then you shoot straight across the field to that lamp, to that light pole. And then you cut straight for the end zone, and that's when I'm going to throw the ball. You know, I think it has to be more succinct than that. And I think it has to be more cut and dry. Everyone says the same thing. We must come together. We must make our money circulate in our community. A lot of people don't know what the hell that means. What does money circulating in your community mean? What does it look like? How can I see it? If it circulates within our community, that means that I must be getting some of it. And then you say, well, look, if I shop at this store, when I shop at the barber shop, when I shop at the dry cleaning, don't none of that money come back to me? So they're saying, how it seems like I'm the only one circulating. But here's the key. Here's the rub. See, if you're not one that's in that circulatory motion, that means that you're not a merchant, right? But you're paying into the services that those merchants has to offer. And in keeping their doors open, you're either benefiting from the savings of it, or you're benefiting from time, and you're saving time for not having to travel 5 and 10 miles to go to the nearest Walmart, to the nearest McDonald's, you know, or to the nearest gas station. So at that point, you are benefiting, and that's a part of the circulation. You spend the money with the merchants pass on the savings to you, and that helps the merchants keep their doors open for you to continue to shop there. That's how it circulates. Everybody can't get money. And I've had somebody that ask me, that's why I'm bringing that up. They say, well, shit, Tone, you know, when they say your money got to circulate in the community, I mean, I'm spending at the barber shop. I'm spending at the liquor store, because I'm spending at the liquor store. I'm spending at the soul food restaurant. You know, they're the ones that benefiting, yeah, because they have to keep the doors open. Whatever you purchase at that restaurant this week, they need to have their doors open, and with the merchandise and everything, and all their supplies and their food and their produce for the following week, to be able to feed you when you come back again. Because see, this is money that you're going to spend someplace else anyway. And these people, they're not taking the money and going to live in River Oaks, or going to live in Chinatown, going all the way out to Sugar Land. They're putting their monies right back into the community. And see, don't you know that a penny saved is a penny earned? So now think of the money that you would have spent to drive all the way across town to go buy some oxtails, some gumbo, some crawfish etouffee. Just think about all of this. But now there's a restaurant within your community, right? And they're providing you with all of this. So you don't have to go to all these other places to hold it. You're saving in gas, and you're saving time. Because as soon as you eat, man, you might live in walking distance. You might can ride a bike. We have to understand what savings is. We have to understand, someone needs to explain what does money circulating in our community means, right? We have to let the public know, because a lot of people are going to be like, man, shit, I'm gonna buy some, I'm gonna go 10 miles away to buy some food over there, because their prices are too high. But they're not looking at what they lost and what they spent in time as far as travel, and what they spend in gas. They're not looking at that. And then sometimes those people that own restaurants outside of your community, they don't care whether you come back or not, because they feel they got their business. You're not going to be a regular customer there because lots of times you're going to think about the travel. You're going to think about all the time you spent on the road, the whole bit. All these things comes into play when we're talking economics. So I just wish that I can hear Brother John Hope Bryant. I'm a fan of his. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Brother David Whitehead. I'm a fan of Dr. Umar Johnson. Sometimes he goes a little way out there. And you know, and I'm a fan of Roland Martin. He's a fellow Houstonian. I'm a fan of Brother Ron Busby, the chairman of the Black Chamber of Commerce, personal friend of mine. And I'm somewhat of a fan of Dr. Boyce Watkins. The only thing that disappointed me about Dr. Watkins is the fact that at some point in time he abandoned the message. He's back on now, and I take my hat off to him. But he abandoned the message at one time and started going for what they call clickbait. All you were doing was talking about bullshit. And I know many of you say this, man, there's only so much that you can talk about on social media. Well, don't try to partake in what's the fad. Stick to your story. Because what we're trying to do and what we're talking about right now is never changing. And it's going to be something that's going on every day with the plight of the black people. So we're going to always have something to talk about. It's not like we're going to be fresh out. So, but I never once heard any of these people tell us definitively, steps 1 through 10, if necessary, what it is that we must do. To retain and sustain and maintain our culture. What it is that we must do to take back what's left of our community. And if that community is too far gone, and the only blacks that are able to continue to live in those once predominantly black areas are the ones that are wealthy, that are well off, they're part of the 1%, right? But you want to talk to those that had to move out and couldn't live there. What do you tell them? How do you tell them to move to a new area and start over? See, everything we want to achieve, even a better position and a better voice in politics, it's going to take money. I know you say, man, money don't solve everything, but it solves enough. It solves enough of our immediate problems. And why I say money will do that? Because what happens is, when you support our city council for local, our congressmen and senators for state, it puts us in a better position to be able to have a sit down and have them come and listen to us, because they see the way we mobilize the people. And most politicians, man, most of them, not all, most of them, all they want is your vote. And there are things that they can get done for you, but they're gonna want to see it go to the highest bidder. You can't tell me. I mean, you know, even those who would pretend that it's not about the money, it's about the damn money. And see, statistics tell you the truth. Statistics say that blacks spend $1.7 trillion back into the United States economy. So that means that black folk are having money. Black folk are getting their hands on money. Right? We need someone to tell us collectively where to place our monies together so we can accumulate those funds outside of this economy. And now we'll have $1.7 trillion and we'll be able to toss our weight around. Now, you're not trying to tell 10 people just buy real estate. Another 10, you're not trying to tell 10% to buy real estate, another 10% to invest in Bitcoins, another 10% to market and buy and flip cars. Now you got everybody doing a whole bunch of bullshit. You're telling everybody from all walks of life and all business that are black, however much money is that you're spending in the economy on frivolous material, try to put at least a part of that, or the majority of that, in a fund that's set up to house our warship, our war chest. That's what that would be, because we're in war, and that would be our war chest. You can't fight a war without funding. Ask Ukraine. You can't do it. So you can get out and protest the whole 9 yards. You saw how Trump treated the man when he came to the White House, the whole bit. Now imagine if everybody treated him that way. He can't go back to Ukraine and empty-handed and tell the people, hey, look, let's continue to fight. Let's just pray we may win. You got to give yourself a chance to win. You see? So it's gonna take money. I don't give a shit how eloquent you speak. I don't care how much you're liked. If you don't have money to toss around, man, in these certain arenas, the whole bit. The same conversation that we're having right now, we'll be having in 25 or 30 years from now. Same shit. But you're gonna be pushed so far back into isolation. Excuse me. Until you're damn near gonna go back. We've never been there, but you're gonna damn near be in the dark ages. You're gonna damn near be pushed into dark ages. A place we've never been, a place we've never gone. But it's gonna be just like slavery, if not worse. See a man that has never been enslaved? No, let me say that differently. A person who's never been free, and they've been in bondage all their lives, they have no idea what freedom is like. If he's just given an hour off, he would look at that as freedom. But a person that has experienced freedom and is now living in bondage, them being incarcerated or in captivity, man, it's gonna feel like 1,000 cuts. I'm here to tell you that. I almost couldn't speak on it. I'm here to tell you. When you've lived what you deemed as freedom, and then when you live to a degree that was above and beyond most, when it's taken away from you, man, you realize what freedom is. And once I had my freedom taken away physically, I realized that it didn't take all that, what I call good living and everything, to appreciate what I deemed free and freedom. When I lived in that 6x8 cell, right? 6x10. When I lived in that 6x10 12 cell, sometimes with 2 other people, when I looked at the food that they fed us, I looked at the shit that they try to run through our minds, the whole bit, I realized that, man, I would have been pleased with just living in a 1-bedroom shack with a bicycle to ride around until I got a car. The ability to be able to see my family, my friends, all of this would have meant so much. And there's a saying that goes like this here: you never know what you got till it's gone. Let's go a little further. You don't miss your water until your well runs dry. Okay? So, on that note, I want to thank Sister Sean Believing Williams. I want to thank Sister Patsy Johnson Brown. Who else do we have here? Brother Reggie. I want to thank Brother Reggie, you know, and any and everybody else that came on board. All right? I know my cameras were acting up, but man, I thank you guys and I appreciate you. If it's just speaking to one, right? If it's just speaking to one, if what I say, if my voice can just reach one person, then I've done my deed. I'm humbled. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. I didn't give the forecast, man, but we have a heavy overcast sky. It looks a bit cloudy. I think it's supposed to burn off later on this evening, and it's gonna, the temperature is going to be 88 degrees, man. 88 degrees. Imagine that, right? But other than that, it's beautiful. It feels great, and I feel good. Reggie, coming home, baby. We're gonna round the bases. All right? Coming home. Peace, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.